Hi, welcome to my vlog. This is a very bina sar pair wala video in Hindi, which is basically, it has no intro, no outro, no context. It's just me trying to romanticize my law school, which is taking the term school pretty seriously and just making us do all the things that are reminding me of school, unfortunately. But yeah, so here is a vlog of me, just a few snippets of me going to school and then trying to just romanticize it by going into cafes. You know, overpriced cafe and study sessions are like just besties. So most probably this is the intro. That's it. Bye. I'm right now heading to my college and stuck in traffic. I'm supposed to reach within half an hour and I don't know how much more time will it take for me to reach there. But it's very frustrating to drive in India, especially when people just drive like maniacs. They will just jump in from any place. There is no regard to the divider. There is no regard. Oh, hello. Hi, my name is Kaushiki and welcome to my vlog. This is gonna be very chaotic because I'm trying to study and at the same time, you know, I'm also at the mall, so it's like a combination. Also, I miss a bit of my makeup, so I'm gonna do that before going inside. Can't do much about the hair, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Let's go study. I hope this is a successful study session because I have not been able to concentrate on my studies for a while. So the goal is that I just sit there and study for as much as possible because my exams are coming up and I am in law school, so it's kind of mandatory to just study and just power through things. So the plan is to take some breaks from studies in the middle and just go through Virginia Woolf's writing. So I actually started reading one of her books, which is To the Lighthouse, and up until now I'm 20 pages in and the only thing that I can focus on is the emphasis on the exoticness of India, or like how it is seen as like a dream place to visit. Or even though I searched up if Virginia Woolf has ever gone to India, she hasn't, but the way that she describes it as like a place that is either like, you know, just you wear shawls from that place, you know, talk about the fine jewelry from there, it's very like distinct, and it made me realize how they viewed it as a dream spot. It's like very Oriental India vision that they had, which is projected in this, because of course this is written during the colonial period of India. It was written at the height of the British Empire, so it kind of reflects in the book as well. So I'm just sticking on that fact at the moment. I will proceed to know what else she has written about. So yeah, so I'm taking a mental break until my coffee arrives. I just realized I forgot my earphones in the car, so the audio is gonna be not nice at all, but that is what we have to deal with anyways. Before I start to study, I just wanted to watch the music video for Crazy by Hitchin. And I've been waiting for his solo for a long while, but yep. Okay, I just watched the music video for Hechan's song Crazy. I think it suits him pretty well, and it is like kind of his style, because the styling itself is very Hechan in the sense that he's wearing a leather jacket, and he's also wearing like very skinny black jeans, which I like imagine him most of the time, in the sense that it's like his staple clothing. And otherwise, the song was very nice. It was very on brand with Hechan, so I enjoyed it a lot. And the way that the paintings were depicting the full sun and everything, right now I didn't have that much time to analyze it fully, but it was fun. Kind of going through the whole playlist now, slowly, and it's like, oh my god, everything that Hechan represents as an artist is kind of in there, and that is like very nice. I love this aspect of K-pop sometimes, when they let the artist take control of the music and it reflects in the music rather than just, you know, being kind of like manufactured. So it feels more than just a manufactured song. It feels more along the lines of, you know, a song that is made an artist's part of soul kind of way. So yeah. So I finally got my coffee after so long, after literally 40 minutes. So that was a bummer, but again I just realized that it's not their fault. Maybe the system failure or something like that. So anyways, we're gonna get cracking with this, even though right now it doesn't seem like it. And also, don't judge my handwriting, but you know, it works. It's just legible to me, and I think that is enough, because at the end of the day I have to read them. So I got up for sugar because there was no sugar, and they gave me such, okay, this is cute. But yeah, let's get cracking finally, for the 100th time. Let's get cracking actually. Okay, so the thing is that India recently, I would not say recently, but basically in 2023 we replaced our criminal procedural code, and the thing is that since it has been replaced, there has been a lot less books that are published which kind of define it, and at the same time have a good language that we can understand. So while this text is very nice to me in terms of just understanding of the value and what is the objective of criminal procedure in India, what I cannot connect it with is the fact that new procedural laws have been, you know, installed, and the focus for that is mostly related to speedy trials and transparency, which is a good thing, because previously under trial criminals could be under investigation, and you could actually, there have been a lot of cases where that exact clause of being an under trial accused and investigation officers taking their extra time with it and not having that limit set on the investigation time has been abused a lot of times. So BNS does remedy that fact, which is very nice. But again it's very hard to find newer text, but at the same time, if you go on YouTube, you can find a lot of videos that just talk about the new laws. A lot of interviews have been held between scholars and jurists and even ministers who make their comment on the new BNSS and its benefit. So most of the time you can actually take the help of that as well, because again, internet is a wide place and you can most probably find anything on it. Okay, so I started reading up on arrest because it is part of my syllabus, the procedure for arrest. And again, I don't know the changes that have been made, but it is like integral to learn CRPC, because of course the law did change in 2023, but a lot of the reforms are based on the basics that are in CRPC, because of course it had a lot of good rules, that's why it persisted for such a long time. So right now I'm kind of confused because this case is not in favor of the petitioner, but at the same time it resulted in a lot of developments when it comes to arrest and presenting the accused before the magistrate, and how the clause, so basically, I know I might be boring some people with this information, but basically you have to produce the accused before the judicial magistrate within the 24 hours, but in this case it kind of got out that a lot of people were registering cases, and like a lot of people were getting arrested, and they were informed of their arrest 24 hours before they were presented before the magistrate. So for example, if person A was to be arrested on the 24th of July and he is not presented before the magistrate within the 24 hours, what they would do is they basically didn't add it to the register, and that way they would not be held accountable for misusing the law. That is some of the thing that was brought before the court. So if you like watch the point 5, which is basically, but before parting with the case, we would like to highlight a certain distressing circumstance. This court has been come across many petitions for the issue of writ of habeas corpus, which is complaint that certain persons have been arrested by the police on a particular date, and that though a number of days have passed, he has not been produced before any court or released. On receiving notice from this court on such petition, counter affidavit is being filed stating that the person was not arrested on the date alleged but on a later date, usually on the date of filing the petition for writ of habeas corpus, that he was produced before the magistrate within 24 hours and the magistrate has remanded him to judicial custody. On such encounter being filed, the writ petition is disposed of, saying that no further order is necessary since the detention is not illegal. In some cases where the arrest is denied and petitioner disputes this court directs inquiry through subordinate court for this court to pass the final order. So you can see how this has become an irregularity, but it was again brought forward in the case that is Bhuvan versus Sub Inspector in 1993. So I'm just reading up on that right now. This is crawling progress, but still it's something. Some because my brain cannot function anymore. Yeah. Anyways, bye. Before I head home, I'm just gonna go to the Om bookstore, because that is that one stop that will lighten up my mood after just the kind of crappy study session that I had. Okay, so I'm kind of nervous, but at the same time good to film myself in public. Also heading to Om bookstore to kind of recharge with good books. Let's see what is trending right now. I heard that Powerless is at the top right now. Everybody talks about it kind of, so yep. So I'm done with the day, and it was 60% I would say it was productive, because I got to learn about arrest in BNSS and what is the procedure and who can make the arrest, and the people who are where you have to present them what is non-bailable arrest, non-cognizable arrest and cognizable arrest. So those are the kind of things I got to learn. I also saw the Om bookstore when I was coming out. Let me start again with was my day productive today? I would say yes. So I went to college. I did romanticize my law school journey, even though it was very bad today, because we were treated as school children more than adults. So that is disappointing, but what can we do about that? So my college day, which is basically my school day, was good enough. I'm getting better with the camera though, because I can speak full sentences, so I'm feeling proud about that. And I just in the cafe I did make some progress on my syllabus, which is basically BNSS, Bharatiya Nyay Suraksha Sanhita 2023. Let's go. I do remember it. I did find a book that was very interesting, because I think it was like a Krishna retelling kind of thing. I don't know what was happening, but basically it had like a blurb that kind of confused me a lot, because it was talking about Krishna as a soldier. I forgot the exact wording that they used, but it was like a soldier basically, and about his third wife, and about just having another wife before that. I don't think it was a Krishna retelling, but at the same time I think it was, because the way that the story had some, yeah, Krishna was written as a soldier, and I'm like, if it is based on mythology, and I know a lot of retellings are prevalent these days, but it just threw me off so bad that I just put down the book. Maybe I will give it a go, because I am looking for new reads. I've realized that all of my TBR is very 2010s and not present, so I want to tackle that as well, because after reading Icebreaker, and I bring this book into the conversation a lot, but after reading Icebreaker, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and one more book, It Ends With Us, I kind of gave up on newer authors because of that. It's just sad, because even then I did discover Sally Rooney, because she's a, you know, newer author in terms of that, because I do read a lot of books that are written in early 2000s. So that is one thing. Yeah, the second book that I saw that I found interesting was Build Your House Around My Body, and it's, I suppose, from a Vietnamese author, because the main character I could see, and the secondary character whose life reconnects with the main character, were Vietnamese. And I saw I read the first page and I got very intrigued, because I'm on a book ban, because I purchase a lot of books and then they pile on and then I don't read them. So I'm trying to finish the ebook first, then order it, because most of the time when I get the physical book, I either finish it at once or either let it pile on. So I'm trying to stop myself from buying more books before I read it, because what if I don't like the book midway and I want to DNF it? Because there are a lot of books that I bought just because I liked the first 20 pages or 30 pages, and then I got bored with it and then I DNF'd it, which is sad but true. Another book I saw that I found interesting was The Forest King's Daughter by Emily Blake, if I'm not mistaken. And again, it's a fantasy genre book, and I know what kind of books I most prefer when I'm going through a reading slump. And right now I could classify the stage I'm going through as reading slump, because I just can't get into a book. So I started reading a lot of books, but halfway through them I'm just like stuck. Like, I like the book, but at the same time I'm unable to continue it, because it just, at one point I cannot focus on that text so much. Like, I want to truly experience it, and I think it may be contributed by the fact that I just read Sunrise on the Reaping, and oh my god, that book was so emotionally heavy, and it's such an experience, because I recently got into Hunger Games, then I finished the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and just, it's so amazing to see the, character of Haymitch and how he's constructed. Like, we saw a little glimpse of it in the first book, but to experience that in length, it's amazing, and it's so heartbreaking at the same time. I literally feel like I'm gonna cry even now, because it's so good. After that, I'm kind of in a slump, so I am thinking that I'm gonna start with a fantasy genre. Maybe the last book that I just listed, because I forgot the name already. The Forest King's Daughter. Yeah, maybe I'll start with that book, because the blurb seemed nice. The blurb was about a girl who was gifted a trinket, ring from another boy who she doesn't remember that much, and she thought it's just a useless trinket, but it turns out it's very important. And how she grapples with that fact, and how she has to interact with the enemy in that form of way, and the boy who wants to now have the ring back. So I'm just messing up the blurb a lot, but I'll just paste it again here, because I suck at kind of summarizing things and just explaining the things I feel, even though I may feel it at length, but it's taking a while for me to actually express it to you guys. So stick with me, okay? I will get better. Stick with me. That is the recap of the day. I did succeed in romanticizing my day, which is basically studying in law school, which is basically just going through text and text and text. And then
I did study. I did fulfill my goal of studying in a cafe. Just, you know, a bit showy, but at the same time it does fit into the criteria that you're romanticizing your school journey, which can sometimes be really slow and really just grating on the nerves kind of experience, like irritating experience sometimes, because it's just part of school life. Unfortunately, it is also part of my college life because my college is literally a school. And third is I got to know a lot about newer books and some interesting books. I found another book that interested me a lot, which was about a murder plot. I think the title was If We Were Liars, or maybe something like that. I will again paste it. I've forgotten about it. I have a goldfish memory, which I have to fix. I have to fix my attention span as well. So that is why right now I'm gonna stick with Virginia Woolf and To the Lighthouse. The book is literally 160 pages, around 200 pages. And if I can't even finish that, I cannot call myself a reader. So I'm just gonna tackle that. Also, I have this phobia with text from the 1900s, 1950s, 1960s, because it seems like a lot of the text is based on the colonialization or just the British context. So yeah, even though I am like, you know, I do study a lot of English text, this is something that I did not seem to comprehend, that I would find another perspective. So most of the text that I read about colonialism is from the negative point of view, where I get to know how, you know, it has such a negative impact on so many countries. Specifically in my country, of course, in India, we used to call India like Sone ki Chidiya, and after that it was like the crown's most prized jewel, that was India. And how just the country degraded under the Englishman's rule. And I, for the first time, have seen somebody talk about India as an exotic place, and it's from a foreigner. That is very intriguing to me, and I at the same time am getting kind of bored because the text is so, like, again, it feels like a monologue that never ends, because I cannot track if I'm reading from the perspective of somebody. I mean, I think English is really easy these days in comparison to the English that we had beforehand, so it's an experience, but at the same time I will continue. That's a promise to myself and to you guys. My love for you. I just need to talk about Haechan, okay? So first of all, who is Haechan? Some people might ask. Who are the subscribers of my channel just because of the fact that I read books? I also love K-pop. I also love F1. Most probably I will talk about it in this video. If I haven't, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I talked a lot about a lot of random topics, so we'll just leave it at that. Maybe we'll leave F1 for another day, because I have recently gotten into F1, so I got to know a lot of cool details. Cannot get over the fact that Ferrari is still an appealing team to me, even though I have seen all the videos of them just, you know, certifying that the team strategy is just not there, okay? Anyways, we'll move on from that at the moment. I don't want to get into that. But yes, back to Haechan. Haechan is a member of NCT Dream and NCT 127 basically, and he has a very good voice, very good vocals. I just love his music, but he hasn't had a solo project, I don't think, since debut, aside from a few OSTs. So I was very excited for that. The music video came out today. It's very Haechan coded in the sense that he was wearing ripped black jeans, skinny jeans, which is like his trademark, with a leather jacket, which is like, again, his trademark symbol. So his name in English translates to full sun. The music video has a lot of portraits of full sun, and the just imagery is very insanely good. I love it. And the fact that he's a very big fan of Michael Jackson, and the choreography is heavily inspired by MJ's style, so that was amazing to see. The other thing is, I listened to the whole album like twice already now. If I had to say like my top 3 songs aside from Crazy would be Adrenaline, because oh my gods, insert clip of me driving and just vibing to that song. Okay, let it play. Second best song is Grey Rain, because you know we love some sad music. I don't even know what is the meaning of it because I need to see translations for it, but honestly it's a vibe, it's a mood. And also third song is Should Be, the title, not that, but the third song that I really enjoyed was Should Be. It's perfection. Okay, I loved it. Just the whole album is so good, and the way that it plays out, it feels like you're experiencing a movie, because it's got an intro unlike this video, it's got an intermission unlike this video, and it's got an outro, which this video has it. Okay, this video has it, just I hope. Okay, bye. Okay, I hope this is the final outro of this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for just sticking out till the end, watching me just, you know, talk non-stop, or maybe just showing you random clips of the mall or the classroom. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.